Sometimes the bravest journey begins with a single step into the unknown. The snowstorm had turned the highway into a white tunnel of swirling chaos. David Martinez gripped the steering wheel of his old sedan, squinting through the windshield at the road he could barely see. He was 36, a mechanic with calloused hands and tired eyes, driving home after a double shift. His daughter Emma was waiting with his mother, probably already asleep in her small bedroom with the nightlight shaped like a moon. That's when he saw her, a figure in white, stumbling along the shoulder of the highway, snow gathering on bare shoulders. David's heart lurched. He pulled over, hazard lights blinking orange in the white darkness. The woman turned as he approached, and David stopped short. She was wearing a wedding dress. An expensive one, the kind you see in magazines, now mud-stained at the hem and torn along one side. Her blonde hair hung wet around her face, mascara streaked down her cheeks. She was shaking so hard her teeth chattered. "Please," she said, her voice hoarse. "Please, I need help." David didn't hesitate. "Get in the car, you'll freeze out here." Her name was Olivia Brennan, though she didn't tell him that right away. In the warmth of his car, wrapped in the emergency blanket he kept in the trunk, she sat silent for a long moment, while David turned the heat up as high as it would go. "I ran," she finally said, "from my own wedding." David glanced at her, then back at the road. Must have been a good reason. Olivia laughed, but it sounded like a sob. "His name is Malcolm Ashford. Billionaire. My father's business partner, the man my family decided I should marry to save our company." She looked down at the rings on her finger, an engagement ring with a diamond so large it seemed obscene. I stood there in the church, looked down the aisle at him, and realized I was about to trade my entire life for money I didn't even want. "So you ran," David said quietly. "So I ran, grabbed my shoes, went out the side door, kept going until I couldn't hear them calling my name anymore. Then the storm hit and I didn't know where I was." She turned to look at him. "You could have driven past me. I have a daughter," David said, 7 years old. "I'd hope someone would stop if she ever needed help." They drove in silence for a while, snow painting the world white outside. "Where are you taking me?" Olivia asked. "Figured I'd take you to the truck stop about 10 miles up. You can warm up, call someone, figure out your next move." He paused. "Unless you want to go back." "No." The word was sharp, certain. "I can't go back. My father will just try again, find another man, another deal. I can't live like that anymore." David pulled into the truck stop parking lot 20 minutes later. The place was nearly empty, just a few big rigs huddled against the storm. Inside, the diner was warm and smelled like coffee and fried food. Olivia sat in a booth while David ordered hot chocolate and soup. When he brought it back, she wrapped her hands around the mug like it was precious. "I don't have anywhere to go," she said softly. "I left everything. My phone, my wallet, my whole life." David sat across from her, this woman in a ruined wedding dress who had chosen nothing over everything. "I have a small apartment," he heard himself say. "My daughter and my mother live with me. It's not fancy. But you could stay tonight, figure things out in the morning." Olivia's eyes filled with tears. "You don't even know me. I know you had the courage to walk away from something wrong, even when it was hard. That's enough." David's apartment was small, just 3 rooms above a laundromat. His mother, Rosa, took one look at Olivia and asked no questions, just brought her clean clothes and showed her to the bathroom. Emma woke up briefly, saw the strange woman in her father's old sweatpants and t-shirt, and said sleepily, "Are you a princess? You look like a princess." Olivia smiled, the first real smile David had seen. "Not anymore, sweetheart." That night, while Olivia slept on the couch, David sat in his small kitchen and wondered what he had gotten himself into. The news broke the next morning. Heiress vanishes on wedding day. Malcolm Ashford's people were calling it a kidnapping. The police were searching. Rewards were being offered. Olivia watched the news reports with something like detachment. "He can't accept that I just left. It has to be someone else's fault." "You need a lawyer," Rosa said practically, "and you need to tell your story before he tells it for you." David knew a lawyer, a woman who had helped him with custody arrangements when his ex-wife had tried to take Emma. By afternoon, they were sitting in a modest office while Olivia told her story to someone who listened and took notes and didn't judge. "You're an adult," the lawyer said. "You have the right to leave. But they're going to come after you hard, try to paint you as unstable or coerced. Let them try, Olivia said, and David heard steel in her voice he hadn't heard before. The legal battle took weeks. Malcolm's lawyers tried everything, threatened everything. But Olivia stood firm, gave interviews, told her truth in calm, clear words. She stayed in David's apartment during that time, started helping Rosa with cooking, played with Emma after school, slowly shed the careful perfection she had worn like armor her whole life. David watched her become herself, saw the real woman emerge from behind the heiress facade. She was funny, quick-witted, kind in ways that money had never taught her to be. And somewhere in those weeks of shared meals and late-night conversations, and Emma's laughter filling the small apartment, something shifted between them. "I should go," Olivia said one night after Emma was asleep. "You've done so much for me already. I can't keep imposing." "You're not imposing," David said. "Emma loves having you here. My mother loves having someone to cook for. And He stopped, uncertain. Olivia looked at him, this man who had stopped in a snowstorm for a stranger, who had opened his home and asked for nothing in return, who treated her like a person instead of a prize. "And you?" she prompted softly. "I don't want you to go," David admitted. "Not yet. Not until you're ready." The legal proceedings concluded on a gray morning in March. Olivia was declared legally free of any obligation. Malcolm's claims were dismissed. Her father released a statement saying she was dead to him. She stood on the courthouse steps and felt nothing but relief. David was waiting at the bottom, Emma holding his hand. "So," he said as she approached, "what happens now?" Olivia looked at this man, this beautiful, kind, ordinary man who had given her something no amount of money could buy, the freedom to choose her own life. "I got a job," she said. "At the hospital. Administrative work. Nothing glamorous, but it's mine." Emma tugged her sleeve. "Does that mean you're staying?" Olivia knelt down so she was eye level with the little girl. "If your dad will have me, yes, I'd like to stay." Emma threw her arms around Olivia's neck. "We're going to be a family." David and Olivia's eyes met over Emma's head. Neither of them spoke, but the question hung in the air between them, gentle and terrifying and full of possibility. They were married a year later in a small ceremony with just family and close friends. Olivia wore a simple dress, nothing like the designer gown she had abandoned in a snowstorm. This time, when she walked down the aisle, it was toward a man who had seen her at her worst and stayed, toward a life she had chosen, not one chosen for her. Emma was her flower girl, scattering petals with serious concentration. Rosa cried happy tears, and when David and Olivia said their vows, they meant every word. Years later, when people asked Olivia about the night she ran from her billionaire wedding, she would smile and say, "The same thing. I didn't run from something. I ran toward everything that mattered. I just didn't know it yet. Sometimes the richest life isn't the one with the most money, it's the one you choose for yourself. Even when choosing it means walking into a snowstorm with nothing but hope and the belief that you deserve better. And sometimes, the person who saves you is just a tired mechanic driving home, who decides that leaving someone in the cold is never the right choice. That's not luck, that's grace." If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment about a time you chose authenticity over expectation, when walking away from what looked perfect led you to what was real. Your courage might inspire someone who needs it today.